Hello, welcome to practice. For today's class, you'll want 2 blocks, and we've got a nice, short, sweet, mellow flow today. We're going to start laying on our backs in constructive rest. So you'll come to lay down, bend your knees, bring your feet to the ground. Have your feet about as wide as the mat, and let your knees knock in towards each other to touch. And you can take any arm variation that feels nice. Might be out to the side with your palms up, which is a little more opening for the shoulders. It might be somewhere on the torso with palms down, which is a little bit more grounding. And then let your eyes close or soften, whatever feels best, and take a moment to really settle in. Make sure you feel as comfortable as possible in this shape. Notice if there's any part of the body that's gripping or holding on to tension. Sometimes we tense up muscles of the face, could be the space between the eyes or the jaw. So can you relax the muscles of the face? Relax your shoulders, relax the belly, the hips, and start to feel the connection of your feet on the ground below you. After your next exhalation, invite a slow but deep breath in. Send the breath down into your low belly. Open your mouth, take a clearing breath out. One more time, slowly breathe in, send the breath downwards, down into the low belly, fill up. Open your mouth, exhale. Clear it out. And then slowly inhale through your nose. Out of the nose, slowly exhale. Inhale through the nostrils, very slowly and steadily. And exhale out of the nostrils. And just start to find a steady tempo to your breath in and out of the nose if possible. Notice what happens to your body when your breath slows down a little bit. You might feel a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed in this shape. And now with your next breath in, start to walk your feet in so that they're about hip bone distance apart and parallel. Raise your arms up overhead, so arms over your chest, palms facing each other. Keep your head down, but reach your arms up as if you were trying to touch the ceiling, so you feel your shoulders lift off the ground. Do a little curling up of your tailbone so that you feel your low back press into the mat, and then trying to keep that, push into your feet. And as you inhale, lift your hips for a bridge pose. Now as you exhale, start to lower, but try to not let your bum touch the ground, so pause right before your bum comes down, just the low back, and then again push into your feet. Inhale, lift the hips, and exhale, lower vertebrae by vertebrae, stopping before the bum comes down. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower, inch by inch, no rushing. Push into the feet, lift up, breathe in. Exhale, lower, vertebrae by vertebrae. One more time, push down through the feet. Inhale, lift up. And now exhale, lower, vertebrae by vertebrae. All the way down. Your bum is the last thing to land, and then relax your arms down by your sides. All right, walk your feet forwards a few inches. Come onto your heels and draw your toes straight back towards your face. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. Do a little curling up of your tailbone so that your low back touches the ground. Keep drawing your toes back towards your face, and then same thing, but now we're just on the heels. Push down, inhale, lift your hips as high as you can. For me, it's definitely not as high. And then exhale, lower vertebrae by vertebrae. Try not to let your bum touch the ground, just the low back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower all the way, but don't let the bum touch the ground. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Keep drawing the toes back towards your face. Exhale, lower. I can feel my hamstrings, the backs of the legs wake up. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. This time, pause. Begin to do little baby pulses of your hips up and down. Keep reaching your arms up. Feel the shoulders lift off the ground. Try to lengthen the tailbone forwards towards the backs of your knees. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and now lower vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down this time. Relax your arms by your sides, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. And you probably feel like the backs of your legs are a little more awake. So now that we've worked the hamstrings a bit, let's stretch them. Keep your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg forwards. And draw all your toes straight back towards your face. Hug the right knee in towards the right shoulder. Notice how your left knee and thigh wants to pop off the ground and press your left thigh down. I always imagine I have like a nice puppy resting on my left leg. And now from here, you can straighten the right leg up towards the ceiling, hands behind the right thigh. Just start to bend and straighten the right leg a few times, just slowly stretching out the hamstrings. And then you'll straighten the right leg as much as you can. If it's shaking intensely, just have a little bend in the knee. Push up through your right heel. Draw your toes down towards your face. Relax the shoulders down. And with your inhales, you might start to pull the right leg any amount closer in. And with your exhales, press your left thigh down. Wrap your right outer hip down towards the left heel so that the right side of the waist is just as long as the left. Final breath in. Exhale, bend the right knee. Bring your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then extend the right leg forwards. Pull your left knee in towards your left shoulder. Notice if the right knee is popping up, press your right thigh down. And draw all your toes straight back towards your face. So take a moment just to settle in here. And then you can extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, hands behind the thigh. Just do a little bending and straightening of the leg a few times. It's kind of like warming up your muscles to stretch. And then once you straighten your left leg, you'll pause. Push up through your heel and draw your toes down towards your face. Wrap your left outer hip down and in towards the right heel. Every exhale, press the right thigh down. Every inhale, draw your left leg any amount closer in here. And breathe slowly and steadily in and out of the nose. One more breath in. And then exhale, bend your left leg, bring your right knee into your chest. To meet the left, give yourself a squeeze. You can rock side to side if it feels nice, massaging out the low back. And then from here, we'll meet in a tabletop position. You can either roll to one side or rock and roll up and down the length of your mat and come onto all fours, tabletop. So bring your shoulders right over your wrists. Bring your hips right over your knees and spread out your fingers. As you inhale, curl your tailbone up, arch your spine, cow pose. Exhale, reverse, round the spine, cat pose. Inhale, arch, open your front body. And exhale, reverse, open the back body. And do that a couple more times on your own, moving with your breath. And we're trying to keep the breath long, smooth, and steady. A little bit deeper than our natural breathing. And you'll find if you're really moving with the breath, we actually move quite slowly in yoga, even with these breath-based practices. All right, now start to make your way back towards center, back towards neutral. Stretch your right leg towards the back of the mat, tuck your toes under. Rock forwards and backwards just to wake up the back of the right leg and ankle a little more. And then from here, spin your right heel down. Make a kickstand with your left foot. So move it off to the left. Bring your right hand to your right hip and turn your chest to face the long edge of your mat. So you want your bottom hand under your shoulder or a little ahead of it to feel most stable. Push down with your bottom arm. Draw your front ribs in so they're not puffing out in a back bend. Now we're going to do a little balance work here. Start to float your right leg off the ground. Bend your knee, bring it in towards your chest, and then try to reach for the right shin or ankle. Bring your right heel as close to your bum as you can. Now start to aim your right knee back. We're going for a quad stretch, not a back bend. And then as you aim the right knee back, now can you lengthen your tailbone back? So curl the tailbone under, and you're going to get a deeper stretch in the front of the right leg. And when you do that, you'll feel your right knee come forwards a bit. That's okay. Better to lengthen the tailbone back. Keep your tailbone reaching back, but now you can start to send the right knee further back to deepen the stretch. Take another breath or so here. If you're feeling wobbly, I am too. If you fell out of the pose, no big deal. Just come back into it. One more breath. And then exhale, release the right foot. Come back to a tabletop. Turn your fingers out to the sides. Rock side to side here. Turn your fingers back forwards. Other side, stretch your left leg back, tuck the toes under. Start to rock forwards and backwards. And now come back towards center. Spin your left heel down. Move the right foot behind you. Left hand to left hip. Push down with your bottom arm so you're not sinking through the shoulder. We're trying not to backbend here, so direct your front ribs down towards the frontal hip bones. And then start to float your left foot off the ground. Bend your knee, bring your knee in towards your chest, reach for the shin or ankle, whatever you can reach. Bring your left heel as close to your bum as you can. Start to aim the knee back and pause. Oftentimes we backbend here. Today we're not. Can you instead do a little tuck of the tailbone? It's almost like cat pose. Feel your pubic bone lift up towards the navel. Now keep that to deepen the stretch, then press your left knee further back behind you. So it's okay if your left leg is a little further forwards. Prioritize the alignment, the tailbone lengthening back, the front ribs drawing in. One more full breath in. And then exhale, gently release. Bring your left hand down. Come back to a tabletop. Walk your knees back a little bit. Big toes touch. Separate the knees, child's pose. Melt your hips back. Relax your head and neck. And then take a few breaths here. Feel your pelvis rock back towards the heels. Relax the shoulders. Send breath into the back body. As you inhale, start to roll up, sitting back on your heels. Let's meet in a kneeling position on our shins. Hands to hips, knees and feet about hip bone distance apart. Step your right foot in front of you, come into a low lunge. Make sure your right knee is over your ankle. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift the right hip up and off the thigh. So the more you do that, the more you start to stretch the front of the left hip. And then interlace your fingers behind the low back. Let's do right thumb on top. Squeeze your elbows in. If this is enough, stay steady. Otherwise, stretch your knuckles back as much as you can. As you stretch your knuckles back, are your front ribs puffing out? Direct your front ribs down and in. Ground through the front heel as you bend your front knee. Press the knuckles back. Lengthen the tailbone down. One more full breath in. Exhale, release the interlace. Sweep your arms to the sky for a full breath in. And exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Reach your right arm to the sky, twist. Spin the right ribs back, the bottom ribs forward. Use your inhales to reach the chest forwards. Get longer from the crown of your head to your hips. Use your exhales to twist a little more. Spin the top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. One more breath in. Maybe the gaze goes up. And then exhale, bring your top hand down. Tuck your back toes. Straighten your back leg. Feel free to grab your blocks here. We're coming towards a pyramid pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Squeeze the right hip back in space. Spin your left outer hip forwards. Use your exhales to fold in towards your front thigh. Let your head relax. And then if you'd like, come onto your right heel and draw your toes all the way back towards your face. You might feel a little more in the back of that right leg. All right, rebend your front knee, loose the blocks, plant your hands on the mat, step to a downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forwards to a plank pose. Exhale, drop to your knees, point your toes. Child's pose, melt your hips back. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Roll up, so you're sitting back on your heels. Come to a kneeling position, hands at your hips. Other side, step your left foot forwards, left knee over the ankle. Lengthen your tailbone down. Try to lean your chest back if you feel like you're leaning forwards. And then interlace fingers behind the low back. Let's do left thumb on top. Squeeze your elbows in, and if this feels like enough for the shoulders, stay. If you're able to straighten your arms back any amount, do so. So as you stretch the front body, notice if your front ribs are really puffing out. Try to lengthen your tailbone down. Direct your front ribs down towards the frontal hip bones. Ground through the front heel as you bend the front knee, maybe a little more. Stretch your knuckles up and back. Stay for another breath. And then inhale, reach your arms to the sky. One breath here. Exhale, lower your hands. Right hand under the right shoulder. It can, of course, be on a block. Twist. Reach your left arm to the sky. Spin your top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Reach your chest forwards, maybe bend the front knee a little more, and then slide the shoulders down away from the ears. One more breath here. Maybe the gaze goes up. Exhale, bring your top hand down. Tuck your back toes. Straighten your back leg, grab your blocks if you use them for pyramid. You'll keep your feet as they are. Straighten your front leg. I know it's a long pyramid pose. I like this version because I think it helps us to square the hips a little more. So spin your right outer hip forwards. Squeeze your left hip back. And then as you exhale, can you fold in towards your front thigh? If you want to come onto that left heel, do so. Draw your toes all the way back towards your face. With your next breath in, rebend the front knee. Lose the blocks. Step to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to a plank pose. Exhale, drop to your knees, point your toes. Curl your tailbone under, and then reach your heart forwards, even look a little forwards. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Stretch your legs long and back. Reach your arms back by your sides. Turn your palms to face down. Press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your head, your chest, your shoulders. And drop the gaze a little bit so the back of the neck is long. Roll the fronts of the shoulders away from the floor. Start to feel your shoulder blades pressing into your chest. Take another deep breath in here. Now, can you keep your chest up? Bring your hands down by your low ribs. Push up onto all fours, back into a child's pose. Take a breath in, maybe an open mouth clearing breath. Roll up, sitting back on your heels. And then tense your fingertips behind you. I'm gonna scooch forward a little bit so I have room behind me. So fingers facing back. Now, if the ground is far away, you can do this with hands on blocks or hands at your low back. Draw your shoulders back. Lift your chest, take a little mini back bend. If you wanna lift your hips off your heels, do so. Get a little more of a quad stretch. Maybe lift the gaze. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the hips if they were up. Bring the hands to the fronts of the thighs. Round your spine. Do a little cat pose. Right, and then from here, we're gonna meet in a seated position, Virasana. So this is actually how we'll end our practice today. You'll sit in Virasana on at least one block. This block will go the wide way between your heels. It can be lowest or medium height. You can stack 2 blocks on top of each other. You could do a blanket and a folded block. So there's lots of different variations of this. And if your asana does not feel good at all, sit in a cross-legged seat on at least 1 block. Make sure your thighs are parallel. And then from here, just take a moment to settle into your seat. Try to find a place where your pelvis is upright. It's not rocking forwards nor backwards. Feel your ribs stack over your hips. Feel your chest stack over your hips. And then interlace your fingers behind the low back, right thumb on top. Squeeze your elbows in, and as you inhale, press your knuckles up and back. And then stay as you exhale. Direct your front ribs down and in. Roll the shoulders back, but keep the head over the chest. Sometimes we kind of jut the chin forwards here. So this is a shoulder opener. You're widening across the chest and the collarbones as well. But whenever there's tightness in the shoulders, I find that the low back tries to do a lot of the work, or the neck, because the shoulders are like, I'm tight, I don't want to budge. So really try to rein your front ribs in and keep the crown of the head stacked over your chest. One more breath here. Now keep the interlace, bring your hands towards your right outer hip. Squeeze your elbows back, and then from here start to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Relax the shoulders. Feel free to look down a little bit. Feel free to look up a little bit. Find that sweet spot where you're feeling the most sensation, and then hold there for a few breaths. This is so nice to do if you've been staring at a screen for a few hours where the head tends to jut forwards and our upper back starts to round. It really balances that out. All right, lower the chin to the chest. Bring your hands to your low back. Release the interlace, and just for a moment, shrug your shoulders up and back a few times. All right, other side, interlace fingers behind the low back. Let's do left thumb on top. Squeeze your elbows in, and then stretch your knuckles up and back as much as you can. So rather than leaning forwards, keep your chest over your hips, keep the crown of your head over your chest. Think about lifting your back ribs up and moving your front ribs down and in. As you stretch the knuckles up and back, start to feel your shoulder blades pressing into the chest. Keep the chin level-ish with the floor. Just another breath or so here. One more inhale. Keep the interlace as you exhale. Bring your hands towards your left outer hip, and then drop your left ear to your left shoulder. And maybe stillness feels good. Maybe you kind of rotate your gaze down a little bit. Maybe you lean the head back, look up a little bit. So feel free to explore just kind of what's going on this side. And wherever you feel the most sensation, stay. It might be different than the other side. Think of using your yoga practice really as a chance to get curious about your body, what's going on, not judging it, but just learning about it. Notice if your mind is getting chatty, you can notice where the mind goes, and then it's probably not too important that you can't just come back into your body, back into your breath. I'm joking, it might be very important, but for now, this is probably more important. Bring your chin back to your chest, release the interlace. Draw your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Okay, so we're gonna end here. Bring your hands into your lap. Make sure there's no music on. And turn your palms up to face the ceiling. You can do hands stacked or separate. Draw the shoulders down and back. And as you press your sitting bones down, reach the crown of your head up, get a little bit taller. Drop the shoulders, drop the front ribs, and then lower the chin to the chest, opening the back of the neck. Let your eyes soften or close, whatever feels best here. Soften the space between your eyes and move the bottom teeth away from the top teeth. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your belly relax. Allow your sit bones to plug into the earth below you. And feel your feet on the ground below you. Try to keep this alignment in your body so that you feel aligned and steady, but also try to find a sense of ease so that you're actually comfortable in the pose. After your next exhalation, take a slow, deep breath in through the nose and take a very quiet exhale out of the mouth. We'll do that 2 more times together. Slow but full breath in. And a very quiet, slow exhale out. One more time. Inhale slowly, like you were slowly filling up a balloon with air. And then like you were releasing that air as slowly as possible, exhale out of the mouth softly and as slowly as you can, savoring every little sip of air. Find a steady, natural breath here. Notice how the body feels when the breath is a little bit slower and more supportive. Notice how the mind feels when your breath is a little bit slower. And with your next inhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Stay as you exhale. Bring gratitude towards yourself, towards each other, and bring gratitude towards this practice. Thank you for showing up and practicing with me today. I will see you soon. Om Shanti. Peace.